Imagine discovering a forgotten suitcase stuffed with cash in your attic, only instead of cash, it's thousands hidden away in your old 401ks. And with the average American having $23,000 in their old 401ks, they're missing out on the potential boost for 30% of their future retirement savings. And if you're new here, my name is Stephanie, an established global leader in tech with over 15 years of experience in planning and forecasting. I am now obsessed in helping women and families invest their hard-earned money to unlock a life on their terms. So in today's video, we're going to discuss the true cost of forgotten 401ks. We're going to discuss why rolling them over is so incredibly important. And we're going to talk about choosing the right broker to roll your 401k over to. And if you stay until the end, I will share a free, easy, and stress-free resource that can help you roll your 401k over with. And I want to remind you that this is not just another financial video with a list. I have personally rolled over my 401k, and I wanted to do that to avoid over $180,000 in lost value over time. But I'm gonna be honest with you, it took me a long time to do it because I was simply putting it off. And looking back, I wish I would have done it as soon as I stepped out of my old role, because now I have so much more clarity over what I'm invested in, and now I know how this set of accounts fits in my overall financial plan. So whether you just started your career or are a seasoned professional, this video is for you. So let's get into it. According to a recent study, there are over 29 million forgotten 401k accounts in the United States alone. That is a staggering number, and it represents trillions of dollars of lost potential earnings. So you might be asking yourself, what is the big deal about leaving your old 401k behind? Well, for starters, you could be missing out on compound interest. Compound interest is like magic for your money. It's the interest that you earn on interest, and it can really snowball over time and ultimately add up in your portfolio. So for example, let's say you have $10,000 in your old 401k. It's earning an annual interest rate of 8%. And if you left it sitting there for 20 years, it could grow to over $46,000. It's a pretty significant chunk of change. But that's not all. You could also be paying hidden fees in that old 401k. Many plans charge administrative fees, investment fees, and other hidden costs that can ultimately eat away at your returns over time. And the Center for American Progress reported that the average expense ratio of a 401k plan is around 1%. My old 401k plan also had a $3 monthly administrative fee. So that was $36 a year that I was paying. So if we apply that 1% to the $10,000 that was left behind in that old 401k plan, and with an investment delivering an 8% rate of return, you're paying $5,069 in expenses and fees over the course of 20 years. That's 50% of your original $10,000 investment. And then ultimately, the value of your investment can go down by 22% to roughly $36,500. And finally, if you leave your old 401ks scattered around, it can be a real pain to keep track of all of them. This can make it difficult to make smart investment decisions, rebalance your portfolio in a meaningful way, and open you up to additional cybersecurity risk with all of your private information sitting across multiple accounts and entities. So now that you know the true cost of forgotten 401ks, let's talk about why you should roll them over into one single account. And the first reason is to boost your returns. By consolidating your accounts, you could take advantage of lower fees and better investment options, which can ultimately lead to higher returns over time. I specifically remember my old 401k charging me an annual expense ratio of 0.32%. But when I rolled my 401k over to its new IRA, I was able to select an investment that cut my fee down to 0.01%. That's 32 times less than what I originally had. So if we math that out, that means that I could have been paying $87,000 in fees over the next 25 years with my old 401k structure, reducing my investment value by the age of 65 by $185,000, which is 8% less than it would be if I had gone with my new expense ratio at 0.01%. But now I pay a little less than $3,000 in fees, which is $85,000 less than what I would have paid if I would have kept my original scenario. And now I could potentially have $2.4 million by the time I'm 65, assuming an 8% annual rate of return. And the second benefit of rolling over your old 401k is being able to simplify your financial life. Having all your retirement savings in one place makes it much easier to track your progress and make informed decisions on what you need to happen. No more remembering multiple websites, logins, passwords, only to find out that whenever you go to log in, you need to reset everything or call customer service because you are now locked out. And the third benefit of rolling over your old 401k is being able to gain more control. When you roll over your 401k, you have more control over your investment options and choices. This allows you to tailor your portfolio to your own risk tolerance and financial goals. Like when I had my old plan, the plan provider only had a handful of specific investment options available to me, and none of them really fit what I needed. Number one, the fee that I didn't like, and number two, even though I was able to invest in what was called a target date fund, which would manage my stock and bond ratio as I got older and inched towards retirement, when I looked at it more closely, it was really just a mutual fund with very little transparency about the underlying investments that were ultimately within it, and the fund manager could make changes without my consent or approval. So that brings us to our next topic. When it comes to choosing a rollover provider, or let's call this a brokerage like a Fidelity or a Vanguard, there are a few things that you want to always keep in mind. First, you want to make sure that the broker offers a wide range of different investment options. This is going to give you the flexibility to choose your investments that ultimately align to your strategy, your risk tolerance, etc. Second, you want to compare fees. Some brokers charge fees for rollovers, account maintenance, and other services. So be sure to shop around and find a broker with some competitive fees. And finally, you want to choose a broker with a good reputation. Online reviews are great, and be sure to talk to your friends and family for recommendations. I was honestly happy to roll over my 401k with Fidelity, and they are not sponsoring this video because I have access to a wide list of low-cost index funds and ETFs. I found that index fund that I showed you with the 0.01 expense ratio, and their online interface and customer support has honestly been great. So now that we've talked about how important it is to not leave your old 401k out in the ether, let's walk through the actual steps that it takes to roll over a 401k into an IRA. Number one, you want to choose a broker or provider that you want to roll your old 401k over to, and be sure that your traditional or Roth IRA is open with that broker so that you can accept the rollover whenever it actually happens. Number two, you want to contact your old plan provider and request a rollover distribution. Number three, you want to choose the type of rollover that you ultimately want to execute. That's an either direct or an indirect rollover. And when possible, I always recommend that you go the direct route because your plan administrator handles the transfers of funds versus actually cutting you a check, and then you have to make sure that that check gets deposited in the new account within 60 days. Number four, you want to provide your rollover broker with the necessary instructions to actually execute your rollover. Like, are you only rolling over traditional 401k funds, or a mix of traditional and Roth like I did? And the last step number five, is wait for the funds to be transferred into your new account. Now, you probably went through this last list of 5 steps and could feel your blood pressure literally going up, because those steps, in my honest opinion, sound a bit daunting, but it doesn't have to be that way. And that's why I want to tell you about Capitalize, who also is not sponsoring this video, but my clients have used them and they've had a lot of success. Capitalize is a no stress, no hassle way to find, combine, and track your retirement accounts in an IRA so that you can maximize your savings. Their streamlined process lets you trade in annoying paperwork and headaches for a simple online experience, complete with access to a concierge. They will even help you compare different IRAs to make sure that you find the best place for your money. A link to start your rollover with Capitalize is in the description below, and I will be sure to also pin it in one of the top comments for you. If you found this video useful, please like and subscribe to our channel. A little over 82% of our viewers have not yet subscribed, and if you would do that, it would mean the world to both me and Joe. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope today's video gave you a little bit more food for thought on how to keep some of your hard-earned money and how to give yourself permission to be wealthy.